light bearers. Just like you. You are not welcome here, Guardian.
When Black Armory was revealed, we learned that the new mysterious vendor's name was ADA-1, and that she disliked the idea of Guardian assistance when it came to the Armory's deepest secrets. The one weird thing that stood out though had to be her name, right? When you take a look at other exos and their names, you have the number that follows it, which is the number of resets this specific exo unit has experienced. So for example, some we've come to know include Cade 6, Banshee 44, Saint 14, Ariana 3, and so on. Up to this point in all of Destiny's lore, I could be wrong here, but the only exo we know of with the lowest number of resets happens to be Lakshmi, which is the vendor of future war cults, having only 2 since the time of her creation. But what surpasses even Lakshmi's 2 resets is in fact the vendor of the Black Armory herself, ADA-1. Now you may have asked when this DLC was revealed, how is this possible and why does she only have the 1 number next to her name in the first place? Today we're going to discuss ADA-1's creation, revive the long slow whisper theories from previous videos, and uncover Clovis Bray's connection to the Black Armory.
Our forge. If you truly covet our wares, then understand we would very much like our forge back. Welcome to the Black Armory.
Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel and I hope you are doing well. So before I begin, I wanted to mention the name and graphic changes for the channel, which will be happening very soon. Now I usually do these sort of announcements at the end of the video. I like getting straight into the content, but I don't want people getting confused and not know which channel they're sub to when you see new channel art and a different name. So nothing content-wise is changing at the moment. Destiny is my main focus, as it's always been, but the change with the art here will make my channel more personal to me and gives the option for different content in the future, you know, not holding me back with the name. So for the time being, I'm rolling with the graphics I used for my second channel, but we are working on some new art as well. So not sure how long that's going to take, could stick with this for a while, could be only a couple of weeks, but just want to let you know all that and keep you updated before it happens. Let's first begin with explaining how ADA-1 only has the number 1 appended to her name compared to other exos. So as far as we know when it comes to Destiny's lore, exos were built for a long forgotten cause by the Clovis Bray Corporation. This was presumably on Enceladus, given some descriptions of various exos' dreams, and also in a line from Cade's journal he explains going to some place cold and getting rebooted, and it was not Europa. We don't exactly know why they were built, but the idea is that Clovis Bray built these war machines with the hopes of furthering humanity's evolution when it came to war and science. Think about this for a second, they could have just made regular robots, right? But they decided to put the human consciousness into a robotic body to defend them from something. There had to be a purpose, right? It's been theorized, you know, over and over it could have been the Vex. Maybe that's who the exos were fighting, but who knows? So most, if not all, exos were built by Clovis Bray, except for ADA-1, who has a different story. Now, not going to get into the whole Black Armory story again, but it is important to summarize at least a little bit of this so you understand what's going on. So before ADA-1 became, well, ADA-1, her name was Adelaide, and she was the child of Henriette, which was one of the founders of the Black Armory. So her mother Henriette and 2 others named Helga and Yuki made the Armory together. This was super important because Helga was a former worker at Clovis Bray and Yuki led the engineering side of things, creating the new technology. As the Armory began to develop and produce more and more weapons, Henriette didn't like this idea for the company. The point of the Armory was not to have these weapons in everyone's hands. Yes, they were supposed to be used in a time of need, but power without control will lead to chaos. So Helga, the one who worked at Clovis Bray formerly, had different ideas compared to what Henriette wanted. They eventually went with these because Henriette was like, okay, this could help us, maybe it's not as bad as we think, and let's just go ahead and do it. They then began mass producing weapons and even installed forges all over the world and on various planets where these weapons can be made. So Henriette was fine with that, but soon something else came along which triggered her further and made her sick to her stomach. Helga came up with another idea, and this one was referred to as Project Niobe. Project Niobe was the process of infusing exos with Black Armory technology to make them essentially mobile forges. These exos would be able to create Black Armory tech on the go, you know, forge their own weapons, and that can either work out really good or super bad if exos turned on us. So of course Henriette hated the idea of exos, said they had no soul, and what if they just turned on us one day like I just mentioned? So although she despised this idea as well, it did become a reality and Project Niobe was a thing. One day, this anomaly or darkness arrived on the doorstep of the Black Armory. Here, Helga, the one who worked at Clovis Bray, died, and Henriette's daughter Adelaide was severely injured in the attack. Henriette had an option, either let her daughter die or implant her consciousness into a new body where she can continue to live her life. Of course, she wouldn't remember anything, but it would give her a second chance, so she did. So sorry if you're tired of hearing me repeat that from, previous videos, but it's definitely important to know with what I'm about to explain next. Ada is different because she wasn't constructed in the laboratories of Clovis Bray deep under the icy surface of Enceladus, or somehow over on the sands of Mars. She was built in the Black Armory with Black Armory tech, and the rules for her were different. Now, I would assume it's the same process, she lost her memory when she became an exo and got ported into this new body, but certain rules wouldn't apply to her off the bat because she wasn't attached to Bray Corp. Now, we don't know this for sure, but they probably don't know she exists, right? So this 1 in Ada's name refers to her being converted into an exo. I don't believe it's one reboot after she became an exo, and this sort of explains everything up to this point. The 1 was her actually becoming the exo. This specific case makes you wonder about other exos and if there are any other out there who only have one reset like Ada. And alongside that, if there are they a part of Clovis Bray or something else like the Black Armory? Now before we progress, it is worth noting that Helga did work at Clovis Bray formerly, but I believe she was dead when Adelaide was converted into ADA-1, so not sure if she had any influence there. So again, we don't know if they were connected to Clovis Bray, probably not, but yeah. So thinking about this whole situation, my mind brought me back to the Long Slow Whisper. Long Slow Whisper is believed to be a certain code which refers to the rebooting process of exos. In past videos on Reddit, on Bungie.net, we all theorized that Long Slow Whisper could have involved the wiping of Exo's mind by Clovis Bray to keep information classified and out of the hands of people or Exos they couldn't trust. Now take a step back and think about that for a moment. If that's true, that's pretty messed up, right? It's basically like if someone had control over your mind and your thoughts, they would just clear your memory every time you learned something they didn't like. But then again, what if this was the goal all along for Clovis Bray? Yes, they made these tireless war machine robots which can help them defend themselves, but they also allow themselves to control human minds if true. Like we said, why did they need the human mind? Why couldn't they just have robots? It's definitely pretty crazy. Now the theory behind Long Slow Whisper is backed by various sources, and Cade 6 is a big one. Cade told his son Ace this in a journal when he was checking some Vex things out on Venus. I knew I was here to secure some top secret thing in the jungle, but I saw it today. They dug up the remains of a technological civilization that actually predates humanity. Don't tell anyone I told you, or could be Wipesville again. So Cade tells Ace about the Vex and says, don't tell anyone because they might wipe his memory if they find out that he knew. So next to the journal, we also have Cade's caches.
It was fun while it lasted. Oh, and tell Paladin Orin, if the sun over Nessus escapes nebula cycle, evac labor after dawn under solstice. You got that, PV? This one's for the minds behind the deep stone crypt. You think just because you made me, you can unmake me? Hey, I understand. I were you, I wouldn't want people knowing what I did either. Guess you better hope I didn't tell anyone about the crypt. Or about the, what was it? Oh yeah, Long Slow Whisper. Because if I did, that would be real bad for you, huh? I may be dead, but I guarantee you ain't heard the last of me.
Cade implies that whatever these minds behind the Deep Stone Crypt are doing, it's wrong. It also makes it sound like they are still alive out there, which could be a possibility, but these were also pre-recorded before Cade's death a long time ago, so who knows. But if all of this information about the Long Slow Whisper is true and Clovis Bray is wiping Exos on purpose, it means ADA-1 is super special in the idea that she's not under their control. Now that is, at least, we think. With Helga's connections to Clovis Bray, they could have something going on there, but beside that, in my mind, I would think she's free, right? This is unless Clovis Bray somehow stole her, they could probably reboot her, I guess. But you get what I'm saying, Clovis Bray didn't create ADA-1, she was built with Black Armory tech in the Black Armory vaults, and I'm not even sure they're aware of her existence. Now there's also that thing that happened a long time ago where Christopher Barrett was on a Twitch chat, I believe it was Mylan's podcast, where he said something about Long Slow Whisper being involved with the rebooting process. He said something like reboot subroutine, and then also Elsie Bray was rejected 40 something times, can't exactly remember what it was, but again, some more evidence right there. But Guardians, that's all I got for today's video. ADA-1 has never been rebooted, excluding the time she became an EXO in the first place, but this is super rare in Destiny's lore, and it makes me wonder if there are others out there just like her. If this stuff about Long Slow Whisper is true, Clovis Bray hasn't gotten in the way when it comes to Ada, and her mind is completely free at this point. But while there is some fact to that, of course, we're always going to speculate, and I want to hear yours down below. Do you think Clovis Bray somehow knows about ADA-1's creation, or is she off scot-free and she has her own life to live in this EXO body? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for some more awesome Destiny 2 news and entertainment. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.